I'm here with Oliver Stepe, Senior Vice President of YKK AP America, and we're going to talk a little bit about some of the company's product offerings. Obviously, one of the big trends we've been hearing about these days is green, and there seem to be so many different definitions of really what that means. I was hoping you'd kind of tell us, when you think about green as far as your company's products, how do you define that?
Well, first of all, thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it. It's an honor and a privilege. You know, I imagine that many corporations and many building product manufacturers today are wondering, you know, how are we going to navigate through this greening of American construction? So there's no doubt that a lot of corporations are thinking about that right now. I don't believe that, I do believe that the greening of American construction is here to stay. There's no question about it. There's enough government regulations, there's enough of a movement and trend that it's a permanent placement within the construction environment. And for us, basically, what we're focusing on is focusing on products that will reduce energy consumption of the building. What that really boils down to oftentimes is more thermal products or even evolving thermal technologies, and even more recently into products that will either harness or control the sun, you know, as a possible source for the building. But beyond products, I personally believe that what's going to happen and the trend is going to evolve is that society is going to look more for the social responsibility of the company. You already see that happening in consumer goods, where it goes beyond the product. It goes to, who is this company that we're doing business with? So they're going to be looking for companies that not only make, quote unquote green products or environmentally friendly products, but companies that they believe to be socially responsible in their business practice. So I believe it's really becoming a multi-dimensional issue that goes far beyond just products.
That's a great point. Now, I know you do have, for instance, your ThermoShade product has a cradle-to-cradle certification. Yes. What's the value of a certification like that, and how do you figure out which group to go with?
Well, technically speaking, CDC certification allows you to gain, or I should say an architect or a project to earn a point in the LEED rating system. So as a matter of technical, fact, it can help get points for a project that's vying for LEED certification. But again, beyond, let's say, the product itself, what C2C has also done is layered in those other factors of a corporation. It's not only just the product, the materials, but you're getting into energy use in the manufacturing process, and also the social responsibility of the manufacturer. So our company had been engaged in environmental activity. We started a global eco-charter in 1994, and our plant's been ISO certified for environmental control since 2003. So for us, it was a real easy decision when we saw this available. It fit with our corporate culture. So I think USGBC announced that May 1st, 2007, and we were successful to get the one first product certified by the end of the year.
Well, obviously another big trend we're hearing these days, unfortunately, is a lot of the questions about 2009, what people can expect from the economy. And I know you now also offer residential products as well, of course, as your commercial products. So I was wondering if you have some input as to what you're preparing for in the year ahead on either side of the market.
Well, on the residential side, first off, I would have to preface anything about market is, the last 3 weeks are obviously unprecedented, uncharted territory. So even forecasts we had 4 weeks ago are now in question. According to NAHB, the National Association of Home Builders, they were actually forecasting, we had a shrinkage of about almost 25% in new housing starts in 2008 versus 2007. And they were actually predicting about a 20-point gain in 2009 after the first quarter. But I don't think there's any question that they're probably going to modify those forecasts.
Right.
For us on the residential side of the business, we're such a small player. We're so new that even within those types of conditions, we still have growth strategies. Whether it's product or distribution. So we've actually grown in the last 2 years while the market itself has receded. Commercially, again, prior to the last 3 weeks, we had already been expecting about a 10% shrinkage in the commercial segment. So our business plans, our thinking going into 2009 had already been poised to expect some shrinkage. But how much that will be affected now in the next 3 weeks, the past 3 weeks, is hard to say. But we're fortunate to have some decent strategies that we believe will still allow us to grow.
Do you have any insight as to things that your customers are doing to successfully get through this, or are you still collecting information on that?
It's insight might be a strong word, because a lot of different people have different circumstances.
Right.
What I believe and what I've heard is that there's still a decent amount of intricate projects or major projects. So companies that are engaged in major projects still have backlog throughout probably next year, maybe into 2010. But from what I'm hearing is the smaller projects have dissipated. For example, retail construction. Okay. You don't see strip malls being built anymore right now, or things like that. And all the major retailers have already announced, Target, Walmart, they've all announced cutbacks of their construction programs. So it's kind of a mixed bag, probably depending upon what level of the marketplace you are. And comments that I've heard is that the strongest companies are strong, and you kind of go through somewhat of a filtration process, in a challenging economy, which ultimately is actually a good thing, if you get through it. So, but a pretty mixed bag, I would say.
I guess we'll have to just see what's ahead of us.
Yes.
Well, thank you very much for taking the time out to talk with us and kind of offer some of this insight into what's coming up.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks.